Hello, I'm Trevor, Master Tech at Wilkins Harley-Davidson. We're going to go over some pitfalls that can happen when you're changing your grips. One of the big ones, especially with the older motorcycles, is you got to take a little piece of cardboard and pack out your brake lever. So just take this, fold this up, put it right in there, and we'll show you what that does. So that's the first thing that you should do when you're changing your grips on that side of your brake lever. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to misadjust your throttle cable. And this is a good time to lube your threads and maybe spray a little lubrication down in there, because they're going to be apart. And if these don't turn loosely, it's another thing. Don't force them. Spray them with a little WD-40 or something to loosen them up, because they'll end up breaking. Then you'll have to replace the whole throttle cable if they haven't been, no anti-seize has been put on the threads or anything. Let me just take the two T20 torch bolts out. Also loosen your clutch perch a little bit, or brake perch. Pop this up a little bit and pull this out. Now this is a throttle cable bike. The new fly-by-wires bike, you don't have to worry about this part. So you keep your little ferrules, or you don't end up losing them. And this is the reason why we put the piece of cardboard in there. Stand up a little bit more. Is this guy right here? I don't know if you want to get a close up of that switch right there. The reason why we put the piece of cardboard there is to pack the lever in a little bit, so it doesn't grab that little switch right there when we put everything back together. Because if it grabs that, the first time you go to give it brake, it's going to pop the end of it off, and it'll keep your front brake light switch from operating right. It'll actually keep your brake light stuck on. So that can be a little change in your grip, something little and quick and easy can become a big job having to replace that brake light switch. So going back together, another thing too is try to just grab the throttle cable by your hands. I've seen people where they've grabbed them with like needle nose, and that can end up like breaking one of the fibers of the throttle cable too. So it's better just to grab them by hand like that, so you're not weakening them. Pull it up, put your ferrule on. I always do the pull side first. Pop that in your new grip. Both sides. Another thing too is always make sure that the tensioner on your little twister here is backed all the way off. Back that all the way off. So sliding back in, we got our piece of cardboard in place. And then all you want to do is kind of pull this up and lock. There's a little tab right there where they kind of go in together. Lock that in, make sure it's nice. Put your screws back in. Make sure you don't cross thread them, they go in nice. I just start them and make sure that that piece of cardboard's in. You kind of slide that in so nothing's pinching. Tighten these up.
Yeah, so
you don't want it completely pushed down because that could cause binding. You want just a little bit of free play there so it moves back nicely and freely, because if you push it too far on the bars it could cause that to bind. Everything's nice. Now you can take your piece of cardboard out, and I always check, make sure that our light still works back there. Everything's working nice. And then we go to adjust the throttle cables. I always start with the pull side first. Turn that just till I hear it click. Right there. And then this is where you get your free play adjustment. So you turn this till you got 1/8 of an inch free play. That's nice there. Then check for make sure nothing's binding. Everything's great. So that's your throttle side. Now if you're changing the other side, usually the hardest part, this one's already had the grips changed over, but the hardest part about changing this side is the stock grip is usually glued on. So you either have to cut it off, or you can spray a little brake clean underneath there and I'll get the glue off it. But there's the grips that go back on, they lock into place here, so they don't have to be re-glued unless it's an aftermarket grip, which will come with glue. And that's changing the grips. Pitfalls of changing the grip.